record on this computer. Okay, so welcome to Please Pass Us podcast, the evening-filled show of information, discussion, and also an opportunity to explore certain topics that are prevalent at this moment in time. So I am joined with, obviously myself as host, Steve Brennan. I'm joined with our Northern expert tonight, Eden. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you, Steve?
I'm good, thanks. I didn't say your surname either, Eden Kennedy, and I won't throw in a student number either. But it's great to have you from the north of England, and obviously a viewpoint from there. And we also have a Midlands expert with us tonight, Connor Payne. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Steve. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. All good. I didn't know whether to put Midlands or South. Really, to be fair, anything below Leeds for us in Scarborough it can be classed as the South. So, but no, it's good.
I don't know about the Midlands expert though. I think you've gone a bit far on that one.
I don't know. It's classed as Midlands, isn't it? The knots.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You see, so you are tonight our Midlands expert. All right. So look, without further ado, we will basically talk about our subject tonight, really. Our non-communicable disease we have chosen is Parkinson's. So just I thought I'd introduce the topic. So currently, Parkinson's.org say that 1 in 37 people within the UK will be diagnosed with Parkinson's in their lifetime. So 1 in 37. And some of the main symptoms with Parkinson's are the involuntary shaking, slow movement, and stiff and inflexible muscles. So it's a very difficult disease to live with. And the NHS, again, came up with a lot of different things that you could look at. So really what we're going to discuss tonight is what the disease is, how it works, and ultimately any interventions that we feel could benefit the people we're looking at. So what we've decided to do is look at older aged adults. So, currently in the over 65s, the prevalence of Parkinson's increases, by 4% in people over 65. So again, I've got some figures here from Parkinson's.org in front of me, but just a little insight, really. I think currently 50 to 59-year-olds, there's 8,889 adults that have Parkinson's. But that leaps when you get to the 60 to 69-year-olds. There's currently 25,916 adults with Parkinson's. And then again, for older adults, if we're looking at 65 to 75 age range, 70 to 80-year-old adults, there's 60,000 over 60,000 current cases. So kind of proves the point, really, doesn't it, guys, that the disease really does impact, older adults within there looking at it. And I think just finally for me, before you get bored of me talking, Eden, and I don't get your chance to tell me about your exciting week you've had. Obviously recently there's been, Billy Connolly, a famous comedian who has, came down with the disease in 2012. But because we're looking at older adults, I thought this quote from Billy Connolly was quite apt, really. But, he said, "There's no denying it. I'm 75 and I've got Parkinson's, and I'm at the wrong end of the telescope of life." So a little bit of insight and maybe a thought process that could mean older adults ultimately think there isn't anything that can be done at their age range. And I'd like to think tonight, the three of us, we can have a discussion on certain aspects and certain interventions for this age group that ultimately, one, will keep them healthy, two, will help improve some symptoms, but three, give them a little bit of a positive outlook, even when they feel, they might be getting to their end of their life, but it doesn't mean they have to just give up and, not be able to live with the disease. Yeah. So yeah, were you going to say something, Connor? Sorry, I didn't know.
No, I was just going to say, just picking up on the point there, what you said about older adults, like thinking that there probably is nowhere to go and there is no way to improve it when they do get Parkinson's. I think probably like we'll all go through it. That there is a way to help it, and yeah, and there is a way to obviously not cure it, but help them improve the quality of life.
Yeah, definitely. You know, couldn't agree more with it. So yeah, that's great. So what I think as a group, haven't we decided to look at really is dance the ideal intervention? You know, with this, you know, it's been shown dance is really effective at improving flexibility, strength, and balance in a Heart 2009. And I think we decided to look at this because older age groups, you know, dance is quite popular with that age range. So I think really with this Eden, you know, a chance to kind of, I suppose, come across to you and just find out a little bit more about the last couple of weeks, and you find out a bit more about dance with, you know, people dealing with Parkinson's. So who did you contact? Who was it you contacted this week?
So originally I emailed Parkinson's UK, which is the charity nationwide, and I asked if anyone would be available for an interview surrounding dance and Parkinson's, seeing as, you know, they were quite well aware of it and their websites and everything divulged in it all. But I thought, why not find out firsthand?
Go on, so,
so then I had a phone call with a lady called Tara Wilkinson, and we discussed it a little bit further.
All right, fantastic. So I suppose then in terms of some of the main points, you know, do older adults accept, or the acceptability from, you know, dance as an intervention? Does
so from what me and Tara were discussing, through the Parkinson's UK, they found that dance was widely accepted by the Parkinson's community. They found this because it was quite therapeutic for people, not only for the people with Parkinson's themselves, but also the family, so the support network around them, and physical and mental symptoms were benefited, and they felt a bit of freedom. So like, it's very high in Parkinson's to have depression, poor mental health, poor social. So, and obviously the physical resting tremors, poor balance. So it worked quite well with it all.
Cool. Excellent. That's good. I like that one as well with the families. You know, we forget about families sometimes, and, you know, they're having to cope with a close member with it. So that's great, you know, looking at that side. But what about, you know, for efficacy, does it work? Is it being shown to work? I mean, what did Dance with Parkinson's say?
Yes, they said from what they've experienced as a charity that it did appear to benefit people with the disease, but as much as what they have found, they do believe that dance still needs to be investigated in much larger groups for different motor and non-motor symptoms, just so that they've got the literature to back them up, but they can physically see from the people that they get that it helps in all aspects.
Got you. So I suppose jury's still out a little bit in terms of, you know, does it work from a you know, a motor point of view with the movement side? But, you know, I suppose again, there's a mental point as well, isn't there, about it in terms of people feeling happy, and a social aspect as well, that you know, more opportunities to go and take part in exercise. And I suppose finally, you know, what's it like then from you know, is it a local, national thing? Is it easy to do for people, easy to set up, and you know, how's that work, Eden?
So dance can be conveniently done. If people are confident enough, most gyms around the country offer Zumba classes, so they can go out, feel a part of the community. But if you don't feel as confident or have progressed symptoms of the disease, Parkinson's UK offer the dance classes. So they've also got the emotional support, they've got the empathy, because everybody around them understands the situation. And across the country, Parkinson's UK has different centres, so it is accessible for everyone as well.
Got you. So
and family can join.
Yeah, just easy for people to do, which is a good thing. So no, that's fantastic from a dance point of view, and well done, because I know you had a challenging time actually touching base and getting it, actually getting some answers from them, which is not easy in these times, but that's great.
No, definitely not. I
suppose, Connor, then kind of come on to yourself really, because you've one, you've got the dance side, but two, you've got this government, this government guideline of 150 minutes of exercise, which is obviously going to be very challenging. So, I know you've gone away and looked at some, are they going to be able to get it? People with Parkinson's, that amount of minutes, and you've also compared to dance a few other interventions. So, I'll just throw it over to you for a little bit, Connor. I mean, do they get the full amount of exercise?
So what I've been looking at is basically the older age people with Parkinson's, and if they're getting 150 minutes of exercise per week, which, like you said, is the government guidelines. I think with older people, it's always hard to get them doing exercise because the bodies do begin to deteriorate, and it's hard to obviously get them up and moving. So I think something like dance is probably good for them, because like you touched on, Eden, the mental side of it and like the social aspect, which I think for older age people is probably the most important thing, because some of them are lonely, they're away from the families, they've probably lost friends, family, things like that. Having that social support around them with something like dance, which is fun as well, it gets them moving. Something like that I think it's a good thing for them. And then some of the studies what I found have looked at the 150 minutes per week was shown to have a smaller decline in quality of life and mobility over 2 years compared to people who did not exercise or exercise less. So,
wow.
People with Parkinson's, it's so hard for them to move the bodies and things like that, and exercising is just a way to help that. So if they can get that in, then it's only going to be beneficial for them.
Yeah, that's great. And then I suppose comparing it to anything else they might do then, Connor. So if dance isn't for them, what other interventions might there be, and how did they rank for you?
So there's two other interventions what I've looked at, which is gymnasium settings and endurance exercise. And there has been some quite good studies actually for aerobic exercise and strength training in Parkinson's patients. One of them which investigated the effects of 8 weeks of aerobic training on a treadmill with load bearing for 30 minutes for people with symptoms of Parkinson's. And it was shown that the intervention was very beneficial for the people with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, which is the strength training or like any sort of training in the gym, the study for this was investigated the effects of 8 weeks of strength training with lower limb emphasis twice weekly in 14 patients with moderate Parkinson's. And again, it was demonstrated that there was improvement. But I think with something like strength training for people with Parkinson's, they are going to increase the muscular strength, which again, in older people, they do lose.
Yeah.
So I think strength training might be good because they are going to strengthen the muscles, which is going to help with balance. Just getting about doing daily things in their life, because they're going to need strength to get up and about, get walking. So that is something that could be good for them as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, there's certainly some interventions there. Have you got any closing statement, Eden, that you'd like to put before we obviously wrap up the call?
Yeah, I feel like all different interventions can benefit people widely with Parkinson's, because unfortunately Parkinson's isn't a disease that has one set symptom. Everybody's different. But as we've seen, dance offers not only physical but mental and social benefits for themselves as well as family. So I feel like as a whole, dancing offers benefits more widely compared to the rest.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Well, look, I think we've got some fantastic information there. You've certainly heard a lot about dance. If it's not for you, a couple of other interventions, and really, I think the key message is get out and do something, even if it's very small. It can have a big benefit and a big impact in your life if you're living with or dealing with or know somebody with Parkinson's. So, Eden, thanks so much for your time. Great to have you.
Thank you very much,
Connor,
Steve.
same as well. It's been
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic insight, and we look forward to to our next call on whatever topic that might be. But from the Please Pass Us podcast, good evening. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.